Hello everyone, and thank you for joining me today. My name is Nasrin Eskandari and I'm a registered migration agent at Australian Portal Immigration. Today's webinar is about the employer-sponsored visa option in Australia, and I'll be talking about subclass 186, 482, 494, DAMA, and finally 407. Before I begin, I'd like to make a quick disclaimer. The information I'm sharing today is general in nature and is based on the visa rules and requirements that are correct and current as of today, 18th of July 2025. If you're watching a recording of this session at a later time, please contact us to make sure you have the most updated information. Also, because every person's situation is different, this webinar is not a substitute for individual advice. If you would like to discuss your own case, you're welcome to contact us for a personal assessment. You can also send your questions through the chat. I'll answer them at the end of the session, or you can always call or email us later. Okay, let's begin with the subclass 186 visa. This is usually the most beneficial option because it gives you permanent residency right away. And there are two pathways for this visa: direct entry and temporary residence transition stream. Let's look at the direct entry first. To be eligible under the direct entry stream, you need to have a skill assessment in an occupation on the CSO, be nominated by an employer who has a genuine need for the position and is capable of paying the offered salary for at least 2 years. And you must have at least 3 years of full-time post-qualification experience. In some cases, depending on your qualification, you may need more years of experience. You must also have competent English, which is IELTS 6 in each skill or PT 50. You must be under 45 years age. And the occupation list for this visa was updated in December 2024, and many new occupations were added at that time. And there has been no major changes to this visa in July 2025, except that the minimum salary has increased to 76,515, and the visa application fee has also slightly increased. Now, for the TRT, the transition stream pathway, you need to have held a 482 visa for at least 2 years, and it doesn't need to be with the same employer. The requirements are mostly the same, but you don't need a skill assessment for the transition stream. For the direct entry, you need to have the skill assessment, but not for the transition stream. One important point is that the processing time for the 186 visa vary depending on the location of the job. For example, for my clients in WA, usually they receive their grant in about 3-4 months, while clients in Sydney or Brisbane often wait over a year. So if you meet the requirements, the 186 visa is a great option to secure permanent residency. However, not everyone can apply for this visa. You may not have enough experience, or your occupation might not be the list, or you might not meet the age or English criteria for this visa. In those cases, the 482 visa may be more suitable. The 482 visa is a good option for people who don't yet meet the 186 requirements. It has lower requirements, especially for work experience and English. To apply for a 482 visa, you must have at least 1 year of full-time or equivalent work experience at the required skill level. And your occupation must be listed on the CISO, which is currently the same list used for the 186. You need vocational English, which is IELTS 5 in each skill, or PTE 36 in each skill. And in most cases, you don't need a skill assessment, although it may be required for certain occupations or certain passport holders. If your occupation is not on the CISO, you may still be eligible for this visa if the offered salary is over the specialist skills income threshold, which is 141,210 from 1st of July. And almost all 482 visa holders can apply for the 186 TRT visa after working for 2 years on their nominated occupation, and it needs to be in the past 3 years, as long as they are still under 45 when they apply for that 186 visa. This visa can be granted for up to 4 years, and I usually recommend my clients apply for at least 3 years. That gives the employer more flexibility to meet the PR pathway requirements later. And now let's talk about the subclass 494 visa. This visa has become less popular recently because of changes to the 186 occupation list, 482 visa requirements, and the TRT eligibility criteria under the 186. Because the eligibility criteria for the 494 is the same as the 186. You still need the skill assessment, 3 years of full-time experience, competent English, and you need to be under 45 for the 494 visa. It's same as the 186. The only major difference is the occupation list. The ROL, the regional occupation list, covers more occupations than the CISO. We usually suggest this visa when the occupation is not on the CISO but is on the ROL, the position is in regional area, or there are caveats on the occupation for the 186 or 482. For example, if a chef wants to be sponsored in a limited service restaurant in a regional area, the 494 visa may be the only available option. And this visa is a 5-year provisional visa, and after 3 years of work, the applicant may be eligible to apply for permanent residency. Another useful option is applying through DAMA. This stands for Designated Area Migration Agreement. These are special agreements in certain designated regions of Australia that allow for more flexibility in visa requirements. We may suggest a DAMA visa when the applicant is over 45, because most DAMA regions allow PR applications up to 55 years old. Or you have no formal qualification but have relevant experience, or you don't meet the standard English requirements, or work in an occupation that is not normally eligible under other visa streams. For example, if you're working as a support worker, your employer may be able to sponsor you under DAMA, and some non-ANZESCO occupations are also included in DAMA list. In many cases, applicants may even be eligible with just 1 year of relevant experience, even without a formal qualification. The eligibility criteria depends on the region, and we can help you check if a DAMA agreement applies in your area or if you're eligible to apply for one. And the last visa, the last employer-sponsored visa I want to talk about is the subclass 407 visa, which is also known as the training visa. This is an employer-sponsored visa, but the purpose is very different from the others. It is not designed for employers to bring in skilled workers at a lower salary. The main purpose is to help the visa applicant enhance their skills in their occupation or work toward professional registration. This visa is a good option for people who don't meet the criteria of other employer-sponsored visas. You may be eligible if you have at least 1 year of full-time or equivalent experience in the past 2 years, or you have recently graduated in a relevant course. The visa can be granted for up to 2 years, but it may give you a chance to gain the skills needed to become eligible for a visa with a PR pathway. So to quickly recap, we talked about the 186 visa, which is a permanent visa with high requirements but great benefits. Then we looked at the 482 visa, which has lower entry requirements and leads to permanent residency. And we also discussed the 494 visa, which is suitable for regional areas and occupations not on the main list. Then we covered the DAMA program, which allows flexibility in age, salary, and occupation. And finally, we looked at the 407 training visa, which is a great stepping stone if you are still building your experience. And please remember, everything I've shared today is general information only. It should not be used to apply for a visa without speaking to a registered migration agent. And if you're unsure about which visa suits you, or you'd like to talk about your situation, we are here to help. You can call us, send us an email, or book a consultation for personalized advice. We also offer free consultation to your employer if they need to know more about the requirements and their obligations. Thank you for so much for joining me today. I'll now take a moment to check any questions you've submitted, or if you'd prefer to talk privately, feel free to reach out to our office after this webinar. So let's see if we have received any question. In Facebook we received a question. I'm housewife. I want to ask you if I start on restaurant in regional area, so can I eligible for PR? So I think this question is about the self-sponsorship. So if it really depends if you meet the criteria of the visa. So this visa, it doesn't mean that you cannot self-sponsor yourself. You can sponsor yourself, but you need to prove that it's not for the business that you opened in regional area. It's not solely for the purpose of securing a permanent residency in Australia or a visa in Australia. In this case, you need to prove that you are bringing a special technology, or you are creating jobs for local people. It's not easy to get. I've done this before. We have been successful in securing a visa for applicants who owned the business, but you need to meet the criteria. You cannot solely just open a business and then sponsor yourself. In this case, I suggest you check your business plan to make sure if it will be profitable and you can bring technology and job to Australians. And also we need to check if you do have the required qualification for obtaining the skill assessment for the 494 visa, or for the 482 visa. We need to check if you have the required experience, if you do have experience in the restaurant area, or if it was only as a housewife before and you just want to open the business now. Probably you won't meet the eligibility criteria for the visa. And then we have another question. To apply at 186, do you need a positive skill assessment? If it's the 186 direct entry, yes, you need to have the positive skill assessment in your nominated occupation. But for the 186 transition stream, you don't need the skill assessment. So it depends to the stream that you are applying. Is it possible to get sponsored as an HRV truck driver in Perth City? So for the truck drivers general, I do believe that it's in the WA DOMA agreement, because we do have WA DOMA agreement which is covering the whole state, including Perth City. So for the truck driver, just let me quickly check if it is available under WA DOMA. Yes, it's in the list, and you may be eligible to apply as a truck driver. And we do have 482 and 494 visa options under the DOMA agreement in WA, and you need to be sponsored by your employer. And we also need to check if you need any skill assessment for this DOMA agreement or not. But yes, it's possible to do this in Perth, but it will be under the DOMA agreement. Is it possible to hi, how long after 494 DOMA visa approved we can apply for PR, please? Okay, for the 494 DOMA and for all 494 visas, you must work in a regional area under the 494 visa for 3 years before you can apply for the 191, which is the PR stage of this visa. So it's at least 3 years to apply for that. And during this time, you can only work for the employer who sponsored you for the visa. And if for any reason you need to change your employer, then the new employer needs to nominate you. But in total, you need to work for 3 years. It could be for any employer, but needs to be at least 3 years. And during these 3 years, you cannot apply for any other visa. You just need to wait that 3 years. Renata also said we are in Townsville. Okay. Yeah, it's the same. If you are in Townsville, it will be the same. Only for the 482 visa under the DOMA agreement in some regions, you can apply for the PR stage, which is the 186 under the DOMA agreement. You can work for 2 years to be eligible for the PR, but for the 494, it's always 3 years working till you can get the 191. And the 191 is not employer sponsored, you do it yourself. So your employer doesn't need to sponsor and nominate you again for the 191, which is the PR stage after 3 years. Okay, so let's see if we have received questions on Instagram also. We have a question about Vandana. It's about I have 18 years experience in teaching in primary school with Master in Education degree from India. Can I apply? So yes, but for the teachers, it depends to the visa subclass that you want to apply. If it's a 482 visa, you don't need a skill assessment, but usually to work as a teacher in Australia, you need to be registered. So for the 482 visa, you need to make sure that you can get the registration when you enter Australia. And for that registration, you usually need to have the required qualification and also the required English level. I think it's 8 in the IELTS, speaking and listening, and 7 at least in the reading and writing. And then if you can get the registration and an employer to sponsor you in Australia, then yes, you can be sponsored here and start working. And for the 186, you need to also get the skill assessment. 186 visa possible. And 186, the primary school teacher, I believe, yes, it is available in the list, but let me check here to make sure it's in the CISO. Yes, it's available in the list for the 186. You need to get the skill assessment, and then after that have at least 3 years of full-time work experience in the past 10 years. And after your degree, your bachelor's degree, plus the required English level for the 186 visa. Okay. So I think, and we also got a message from Renata. Thank you so much. Someone had told me that 3 years would change for 1 year. No, for the 494 visa, we had no changes. We had some changes for the 482 and 186 in December 2024, but nothing for the 494. It's still the same occupation list and same regulations, and even for the PR stage, we haven't had any changes. I know it's not fair after changing the whole thing about the 482, but no, it's still 3 years. So they haven't changed anything yet for the 494. Okay, so if there's no questions, we will finish for today, and have a great day everyone, and I hope to speak with you soon. Thank you.